Hi, I am Pratim Ranjan Bose and you are watching Podcast with Pratim, presented by Iravati Research and Communication Center or IRCC. In this episode, we will discuss about the defense cooperation between India and USA as underlined in the joint statement by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the US President Donald Trump on February 13. I have with me retired Major Dr. Rajan Kochhar, VSM. He is an expert on defense sector modernization and director of NIET Business School in Delhi. Mr. Kochar advises various defense research institutes and think tanks in India. Welcome to my show, sir.
Thank you very much, Pratham. It's always an honor to be invited to a show.
Sir, the joint statement talks about the US-India Compact, explained it is catalyzing opportunities for military partnership, accelerated commerce and technology for the 21st century. The two countries have also agreed to sign a 10-year framework for futuristic defense partnership. Can you please explain how would it benefit India? Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Pratham. Before coming to this compact, which is basically a new form of Index X. If you remember in 2023, United States and India entered into a similar agreement, which was called Index X. So now what is happening is that there is a change of name, but the content more or less remains the same. I will come to that content later because it is very important for the viewers to understand. Firstly, that how the Indian Army intends to modernize itself or the Indian Armed Forces intends to modernize itself. Because we will be talking about capability development first, and then automatically the understanding for the viewers will become much easier when they relate to this joint communique, which is specific to defense. When Prime Minister Modi, I believe 12th and 13th of February, he was there. So, straight from the horse's mouth, straight from the statement of the Chief of the Army Staff, I will highlight certain areas where the Indian Army finds that it has voids, where, where we find that we need the capability and we don't have the capability. And Atmanirbhar Bharat also cannot give us the capability in the time frame we want it because of our threat perception. As you see the borders today on a line of actual control and the line of control and the hybrid warfare which is being practiced by our adversaries. So straight away coming to the point is that the Indian Army needs a combination of advanced technology, modernized infrastructure, strategic reforms, and improved training. So, four areas I have actually highlighted here. I will focus on the technology part because that is more related to US and India agreements and what kind of equipment we would like the United States to give us. You made a mention of F-35. I'm very sorry to say that F-35 is not the right platform for us to actually get from the United States because F-35 has got a multi-various problems within that platform. So we will discuss that much later. So coming to technology and modernization, we are all aware that what is the advanced technology which the Indian Army needs? Artificial intelligence, quantum computing, machine learning, cyber defense, and hybrid warfare threats and how are they going to emanate and how are we going to control it? See, you will have to understand that how will a war start? Let us build a scenario right now in your program that, and we take that China decides to start a war with India, because we will never start this war. It will always be from our adversary side, because we have never believed to be an aggressor or initiator of wars. If you take back yourself to history also, you will find that India has never initiated a war ever. Let us take that into our strategic culture. When we talk about strategic culture, we we know that our strategic culture is that we are not the aggressor. Okay, now China, the first attack on you will be a cyber attack. China will not fire a single bullet. If people are imagining that this war is going to be fought like the 1971 war, I am sorry to disappoint them, because this war will be fought in space domain, cyber domain, and electronic warfare domain. These are the three domains where this war will be initiated. Subsequently, yes, subsequently, the land forces, the air forces, and the sea forces will come into play, but that will be at a much later stage. So, are we as Indian Army or Indian Armed Forces equipped today to handle a powerful cyber attack from China? That is my question to all the research scholars and to all the military thinkers who keep on writing articles after articles. We need to analyze this aspect first, that are we ready for that cyber challenge? Second important aspect, and please keep this in mind when we talk about our interaction with the USA. Second important aspect is a drone and multi-drone technology. I am very happy to state that our own people, our young scientists, our young technocrats who are part of technology domain have been able to manufacture drones in the country. But the kind of drones we need for a multi-swarm attack on China, because drones are not going to be employed in single digits. They are going to be employed in triple digits or even more than that. So for that, we need a swarm drone technology. You have seen in the Ukraine war, 3 days back, you have seen how the Russians have attacked Kyiv with more than 178 drones at the same time.
If I'm not wrong,
60%.
Iran also deployed drones, a swarm of drones against Israel.
Yes, absolutely. And the probability is that your air defense umbrella will get so much saturated with so many targets that you won't be able to shoot all of them. And even if 20% of those targets are not addressed, they will cause sufficient damage to your military installations, your command control centers, your ammunition dumps, your logistic areas, and your headquarters. So that is once the cyber and the space attacks are over, and the enemy has disabled most of your electronic systems, you can expect the next would be a swarm drone attack on you. Abhi, that classical air warfare, you see, my Air Force friends will be asking me that why aren't you talking about the classical air strikes, which normally take place as a preemptive before we start the war. If we go back to any war, we will see the Air Force gets operational before the land forces. But here the concepts have changed. drones are going to be used in such a manner. It's a very, very low cost option. And at the same time, they are unmanned. You are not going to lose a pilot in war. You are not going to lose a critical your aircraft of yours which runs into crores of rupees. I was told that one F-35 is going to cost you 1,800 crores. Can you imagine losing
Yeah,
1,800
but Rafale
crores?
also probably cost us some 1,600 crores or something, right?
Yes. So
Abnormal costs.
it is exorbitant. So I think our military thinkers, military doctrines have to undergo a change, and this is one area. See, we have low technology drones with us. We don't have the MQ-9B Reaper type of a drone, which is a major weapon platform for intelligence, uh, surveillance, and offensive tasks. So I think uh, that we are going to discuss about that deal, which is approximately 31,000 crores. 31 of these drones are coming to us for the sea as well as for the Air Force. Third is, having spoken about cyberspace and drones, the third is your space warfare capability. I'm bringing in space warfare for a specific purpose, because you have to today rely on satellite communication. Your entire communication, if it is from satellites, the encryption is so high that it cannot be interfered, it cannot be hacked. So it is extremely important that this space warfare capability, do we have it in us today? We will come to that later. And I will end with one last this thing, advanced weapon systems, because I will talk about missiles here. I will not bring in the entire gamut of modernization. I will restrict it to cyber, space, drones, and advanced weapon system, along with the Air Force requirements of fighter aircrafts. So if you take these five major domains, what I'm talking about, and in this advanced weapon system, I'm going to talk about the hypersonic missile. Do we have a hypersonic missile today? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Whatever you may read in Google Media and all, the BrahMos is coming up with a version of a hypersonic, they still have got a long distance to travel. So, if your adversary has a hypersonic missile, and a hypersonic missile is a missile which travels more than 5 Mach speed. And today the Chinese have a hypersonic missile which is almost 8-9 Mach, 8 to 9 Machs. None of your air defense systems, you can have your S-400s, you can have your Patriots, you can have any sort of a system, they will be able to intercept any of these hypersonic missiles. So technology is changing. You see, we have supersonic missiles today. BrahMos is a supersonic missile, and it has got a speed of almost 2.8 to 2.9 Mach, and uh, so far 290 kilometers, likely to be enhanced to about 450 kilometers. And it's a triad. It can be fired from the sea, from the air. Sukhois have been equipped now. You can equip this missile in Sukhoi 30 aircrafts, and also by land. So, having said that, now one important aspect we have to consider, do we put all our eggs in the same basket?
Sir, if I understand you correctly, I mean, please pardon me if I'm wrong. What you are saying is that, I mean, we had a similar argument when we spoke about those huge warships, whether the warships are any, those huge warships which are slow moving are any more required in as many numbers. So you are somehow saying that, I mean, if I get you correctly, is that in modern warfare, these drones can come and kill your air bases, destroy your air bases. Your costly airplanes uh, can maybe destroyed, or these hypersonics which may come and hit you, and you don't have a defense system to resist that. So what you need is the first, different. You have to think differently from what you thought in the past. That is what you said probably so far.
No, 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 absolutely. And see, I have not touched on the air defense system as of now, because we are not negotiating with the USA on the air defense systems.
Okay.
We are more inclined towards Russia. So I have not touched, because that is one very important area which you have rightly brought out, that that capability is to be enhanced. Okay, we don't have that capability as of now. So we don't have that kind of umbrella which Israel has or the United States have. We are a long way to go, and it's work in progress. So now I'll come to the point of the United States. Uh, as I actually mentioned, we cannot have our entire Indian army dependent on equipment from foreign countries. So my first starting point of my argument is, Trump is interested in what? Trump is very, very clear. $45.6 billion is the balance of trade in favor of
Trump
India.
wants to sell more weapons. That is his
Yes,
objective.
it is his intent. So now,
From the Indian side, we are heavily biased towards Russians, heavily dependent on Russians. So, my simple layman's logic is, if we can diversify to some extent our basket, that might help us. But you can tell us better. So basically, what this joint statement said is about sale of modern systems, including F-35, and which they will review if they will sell, and the subsea systems, undersea systems. I don't know whether it means nuclear powered attack submarines, but if it does, probably India needs them. So, so this is what Trump's very limited objective: sell weapons. How we are going to negotiate with that, and how we are going to protect our interests. That is what you can tell.
okay, so it's a very important question which will slightly digress from the military aspect into the political and the diplomatic domain aspects. Because how are we going to negotiate with this man? He is a difficult taskmaster. He is going to enforce on us reciprocal tariffs if we are not going to toe his line. So, what are the alternatives India has on? And India does not have much time, because these trade agreement with the United States has to culminate by September, because that is a deadline which has been given. By September, we have to finalize tariffs on all items of trade with the United States. So, in case we don't come out with our shopping list for Trump, we will end up with reciprocal tariffs, and which is going to hurt the Indian economy. So, what is the way India is going to handle it? And I feel it is going to be done in this manner. The Striker combat vehicle and the Javelin anti-tank guided missile system is already undergoing trials in India. The Indian Army has accepted the Striker vehicle. It was earlier with the engine of 300 horsepower. We found it a failure in the high altitude. So the company, American company, has agreed to enhance the engine to 600 horsepower. So the first point of the deal is, which is going to be inked, I believe, is this Striker combat vehicle. We have our own alternative in terms of the VAP. The Tata Advanced System is actually making, L&T is also making a platform of the similar client, but we may have to compromise. So the first important positive signal from India is going to go that we are going to buy Striker. The second important objective, India is going to tell Trump that please establish a manufacturing base in India, because subsequently the Striker vehicles, first lot we will get from you. Subsequently, we want this vehicle to be assembled in India. Our companies will have a JV, a joint venture with your company, and both of them will set a base in India, and a transfer of technology to take place at a later stage. So I think,
Sir, just interjecting, as you say, transfer of technology. I know because of this clause, foreign companies are very averse to put up shop in India. So, are we going to now relax those norms? Because, uh, I mean, if they manufacture in India, we gain, but rather than importing it. If they manufacture, the cost can be lower, etc., etc. So, do you think that we are going to relax those technology transfer norms?
see, this, let us tackle this problem in a stepwise manner. The first is you give Trump an order of a couple of billion dollars. He has already announced our own uh, uh, joint communique that in the next 5 years, we are visualizing an import of $200 billion worth of defense equipment from America. So what Trump is getting is $200 billion. His trade deficit is going down. Oil and gas also we will buy from the United States. So we will be placating him to a great extent on the balance of trade issues. So that will give us some kind of a leverage to negotiate with Trump. So I think, this is my assessment, I could be wrong. What I have been able to analyze of the whole situation is that a Striker is a done deal. The Javelin ATGMs are a done deal. The P-61, P-81 Poseidon aircraft for the Navy, already 6 is a done deal. And whatever platforms we have from the US, and I will like to name these significant ones: C-130 Super Hercules aircraft, C-70 Globemaster 3, Chinook helicopters, Seahawks, Apaches, Harpoon and ship missiles, ultralight howitzer M777 and MQ-9B drones. So what America is going to do is, he is going to establish in India a, a maintenance and a repair organization, that whatever
Wow.
equipment India is going to, it's already in the talks, it's already there. It is a part of that defense framework for the next 10 years. That is an agreement which has already been signed between India and America now. So for the next 10 years, we are going to have the MRO support from America. So whatever equipment the Indian Army has uh, in its inventory today, which is of American origin, is going to be maintained by the Americans. MRO plants are going to be there, and our own people are also going to be trained on that. That is point number one. Point number two is that, having placated Trump on his balance of payments, uh, we will be in a position to tell him that we don't want your F-35s. there is a lobby here within us also who is interested in buying F-35s. And why? Because today the Air Force is in a bad shape. So the Air Force feels that whatever is coming, you must take it. And it's logical also, because if you are down to uh, 30 squadrons, you against a requirement of 42 squadrons, you are 12 squadrons less. And your AMCA project, where 114 aircrafts, fighter aircrafts were to be supplied by you, is not taking off.
You are
Then
talking
your
about the
LCA,
Tejas Mark II.
and
Sir,
Tejas Mark II is.
Tejas Mark II was depending on GE engine, and the supplies were.
I'll come to that,
Hmm.
because that G engine also America has uh, uh, delayed it by more than a year and a half. And unless you get the G engines, your the LCA will not be ready for you. So, why America is delaying is because America wants to give you F-35. He wants to delay your progress of indigenization, so that you are compelled to buy F-35 from him. And ultimately, I feel he will be able to succeed, if not four squadrons, at least two squadrons of F-35. It may come to us. We are more inclined towards the Su-57, which is a better aircraft. If you know this aero show in Bangalore, everybody was impressed more by the Su-57, those Air Force people. So I think they will have to strike a balance, and the thawing relations between Russia and America is going to help us. I want to link this here, because I perceive that Russia and America are going to get closer now, because China is likely to be sidelined. So the master stroke of Trump is now he is trying to get across to Putin directly. So that is one important aspect of foreign policy, which is going to be beneficial for India, because now if we buy anything from the Russians, the Americans are not going to you force us, kid, okay, okay, don't buy from them. So it will be a kind of a diversification. You are buying from US, you are buying from Americans. Most probably two squadrons of your F-35 are going to fructify. There'll be no transfer of technology. There'll be Lockheed Martin will not set up a base in India. Be rest assured, we are going to ask for that, but Trump is not going to agree on that. So I think the next 4 years, you see, this policy is not going to remain constant after Trump leaves. So we have to understand that we have to play a balancing act in the next
Even
4 years.
it is questionable, or it is to be seen how Trump, how this where this policies takes US to, because
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, because Mexico is giving it back to Trump, Canada is giving it back to Trump, and Trump is not being received by Ukraine. Trump is falling out with the European Union, and relations with France are getting bad. So you see, the turmoil is taking place within
right.
his own foreign policy. So he will have to make some corrections. He can't go the way he's going as of now.
Right, right. Sir, exactly correct. US under Trump is acting like a as if the world is a hyper unipolar world. In reality, the unipolarity is disrupted. We are now
Yes.
going to see multipolarity. So, but I believe it is a lot of due to bargaining, hard bargaining. Finally, things will settle down, and we are passing through a particular geopolitical phase, which might last for 3, 4, 5 years, and then things will settle down.
Absolutely.
And you are
Agree.
right that in the meantime, we have to delay certain things, fast forward certain things. We have to go by our choices, mix and matches, so that we pay optimally and we extract optimally from the US. And as you said in your opening remarks, that we need certain kind of US support for fast ramp up of our defense capabilities. So very quickly, because the time, I would like to wrap it up. So very quickly, you were talking about the strike. What is that?
Striker vehicle.
Striker vehicle, right? So
Yeah.
sorry for my ignorance. I don't understand it, but probably it's something of what we normally say a tank or something like that. And we know that L&T and some other companies were into it, you were saying. So, sir, are you saying that to some extent it would disrupt our indigenization or the Make in India process? I'd like you to give a very quick reply.
You see, it is going to disrupt because we have an alternative to striker, and that is the VAP. Uh, 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 Now you have to understand that a great deal of R&D has been spent in manufacturing a prototype of the VAP, and the VAP may not be as good as the striker, but it is meeting our requirements. So now, since people want the best of the equipment, so that we are striker is of course the best. And what is a striker? It is important to understand. A striker is an 18-ton combat infantry combat vehicle. It is on the lines of your BMP-2, and it can be employed in all kinds of terrains. And it has a combination of ATGM vehicles with this, medical evacuation vehicles, recce vehicles, fire support vehicles, and a nuclear, biological, chemical warfare vehicles, and a 105 gun system. United States has a striker brigade. In a brigade, this is the composition of all the elements. And why it is called striker, it is actually synonymous with it, because you can rapidly, your mobility is very, very fast. It's a very high powered tank, as I may loosely actually call it, you like a light tank, 18 tons. And it can move fast, tremendous amount of firepower, and a great deal of protection. What the armored warfare looks is for three things: firepower, protection, and mobility. Striker gives you all the three things on a platter. And that is why the Indian Army trials have gone off very well. And I think it will be a right buy till we improve our VAP vehicle. Our VAP vehicle, we can also induct a reasonable amount of quantity of that and take striker from the United States. So it can be a combination of both. But definitely, when you want to modernize and you have a limited time, your Atmanirbhar is going to suffer, because you are going to get equipment from outside and you are not prepared to wait for the manufacturing to take place. And uh, as you know, our systems are such that it takes years to manufacture a new equipment.
That is where I think we should end it up in this particular episode. Is that it is not that we are not going to give time, but our systems made it unviable for the producer to come up. Private sector can do lot many things, but we took probably last 10 years of Make in India. We spent more time in restricting them rather than opening the doors and asking them to innovate. I had a chat
Absolutely.
with Major General in Delhi last week, And it was a
True.
fantastic chat, and this is exactly what we are missing out in India. And unless and until the policies are opening up, we cannot just, you cannot, probably Major General can say that probably you cannot fight a new generation warfare with a old generation mindset. So
Yeah, very nicely brought out.
thank you, sir. Thanks for coming.
No, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be on your show.